Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. I couldn't wait. I don't normally watch episodes back to back for shows. I have a very pretty rigid reaction time schedule. I haven't even edited episode 9 yet, but I went back and rewatched it twice. And then afterwards I was like, am I really going to wait a week to watch episode 10? No, I'm not. So I haven't even edited episode 9 yet, but I'm like, I'll do that later. I've got to watch episode 10 first, and then I'll stop myself. Then I'll stop myself. But last episode was so good. Oh my gosh. The cave scene with Wangji and Wuxian. Wangji finally showing some emotion. Wuxian and them bonding. They're using first names, establishing that the Wing Clan sucks and that the Wing Clan is after Chang and the others trying to kill them. It looks like Chang escaped. I'm assuming Chang is going back home to warn his parents and tell them that Wuxian's gone missing and he's not come back and needs help. And just, oh, the resentful energy with the tortoise, like everything coming back. And it just, so good. It's just such a good episode. Definitely my favorite of the season so far. I loved episode 6. I really liked episode 7 and episode 8. But episode 9, oh, y'all. That's some good stuff. So I was like, it ended kind of on a cliffhanger because it showed Wuxian sinking in the waters. But I'm like, Wangji has to save him. But then is Wangji going to question him about the resentful energy? Because there's some of that. Looking back on that episode and seeing that it was the sword and all the spirits and stuff surrounding it that turtle had killed for 400 years, worth. And it was all going after Wuxian. And it looked like Wuxian's core was still intact. But I'm sure that by now, by the time this episode premieres, I've talked to you all in the comments. I'm sure that we've all established some things about that by now. But that I'll know for next episodes. But yeah, I couldn't wait. I was like, I need to know what ends up happening. So yeah, that's where we are. But yeah, so I am all aboard the Modao Zushi train for sure. For sure. And I talked about last episode, but I'm pretty excited because when this season ends, I'm going to go straight into season 2. And when it ends, we might have a little bit of downtime before season 3 comes out. And I'm going to do the Chibi series, the Modao Zushi, the Q, because that is basically based off season 1 and 2. So that'll be a nice little segue for that. I'm so excited. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching these reactions. I'm so in love with the show now. I'm like on board. But I want to see what happens. And so thank you for not spoiling me and being so informative. I really appreciate that. But we are going to start episode 10 of Modao Zushi. I can't believe we're on episode 10 already. It blows my mind. But yeah, let's dive into this, shall we? We're going to start this bad boy here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, y'all, this episode, yes, please. Okay, so first of all, I'm glad I didn't wait because this episode is another one that I'm going to go back and watch a lot because, oh my gosh, so much, so much, so much, so much. So, of course, Wanji saves him. Of course. And Wuxian is like about to pass out, and I love that he's like, don't fall asleep. He's like, don't fall asleep because he's like, if you fall asleep, you could die. Like stay awake. Stay with me. And then Wuxian's like, well, then play a tune. And it didn't dawn on me that the reason he kept the strings on him, because when he was using the strings in the last episode, I was like, oh, that's a cool thing he just had with him. But it's strings for his instrument. And I was like, oh. And him playing the theme song and like tied up the strings to play and him humming. Oh my gosh, y'all. And him humming the little tune. And Wuxian just looks so disheveled, but he's like so happy in that moment and like tapping along with it. And that look of Wangji where he just slowly turns and looks at Wuxian from across the fire. But then we find out that it's been a week. So it's been like 3 days he's been in a coma for 3 days, and I like that when he wakes up, he's got that little chart, the drawing of them kissing, the mom and dad, and then Yanli's with him, and he's been in a coma for 3 days, and Wangji went back home. And I feel so bad for Chang in this episode, because Chang has the rough end of the stick on this, because he's like being tugged between both of his parents. On one end, you can tell that his mother's upset that she doesn't think that their father is giving him the attention that he deserves because he's going to be the future clan leader. So she's mad about that. And then on the other hand, the father clearly likes his son, likes both of them, because Wuxian's basically like his son, but is so mad at the mom because he thinks, you can tell that there's this corruption, and Chang is just caught in between both of them. And I hate it for him, because Chang's not a bad guy. He's just the product of this environment that has basically just told him all these things about himself that he's like, what do I believe at this point? Am I weak? Am I strong? And of course Wuxian teases him here when Yanli feeds him, and he's like, Wuxian, you get away with everything. And then he gets the praise for him and Wangji killing the tortoise. And Chang's like, well, I wish that if I had been there. And Wuxian's like, if you'd been there, you would have gotten some of the credit too, but you escaped. And I feel bad for Chang, because Chang basically saved Wuxian's life. He went and got help and got them to get both of them out and dig for days to get them out of there. And he doesn't get credit for it. It almost seems like he's weaker because of it. But it's like, Chang, you did so much. And the part where Wuxian's like, there's twin Jades for the Lan clan. We'll be the twin heroes of the Zhang clan. At that moment, I was like, oh my gosh. Because it's so tragic. Because then you look back at episodes 1 and 2, and Chang clearly hates Wuxian. And it's like, you went from being these two brothers that came together despite your differences to love one another and say that you're going to be like... And Wuxian's being like, look, you're going to be the clan leader. I don't care what anybody says. You're going to be the clan leader, and I'm going to be your subordinate. We're going to talk about family bloodlines here. I'm going to be the subordinate, just like my father was to your father. So don't question what anybody else says. And they come to this agreement, and you can just see like it's going to work out, and that they're going to like work together, and he's going to be the clan leader, and it's like, ugh. And then now you look in the present day, and you're like, what happened? So don't spoil me, but I know we're going to find out answers. But it's just so crazy when you look back and see these relationships between these characters. And then you see where they are now, and you're like, okay, what hit the fan to ruin all this? Because it's so hopeful in that moment, and then things just all go to hell because of the Wind Clan. So, and I love that Wangji told everyone that Wuxian killed it, and Wuxian's like, no, it was Wangji. It's like, boys. And he says, well done, and Chang gets so mad because his dad compliments him on it. And they said here, like, you slayed the tortoise of carnage before you hit adulthood. And adults in ancient China become adults at 20. And then Wuxian's like, well, if you'd been there, I would have gave you credit too. It's like... And then, there's this moment between the dad and them, and then the mom shows up. And then the mom shows up, and the dad starts to get onto Chang because Chang's being hateful. And the dad starts to get onto him, and you can tell that it's because the dad is like, you're sounding like your mom. You're being hateful. Wuxian didn't do anything wrong. He, don't just say things without thinking about them. And he brings up the model of the Zhang clan, and then the mom just walks in. Her slow motion walk in gets me every time. She's just like coming in here with this big dick energy, being like, putting it down on the table, being like, excuse me, let me bring some truth bubbles into this. And so she talks about his parentage here, and it was going so fast that I wanted to go back and view it. Yeah, and so she's like, we're both masters of the Lotus Pier. Do you remember which one's your own son? And he's like, yeah, I do. But also, he's like, quit bringing this up. And, okay, so here she's bringing it up. And her putting Chang in front of them is like just a tug of war. She's like, this is your son. And he's like, I get it, yeah. this one is your flesh and blood. If you dislike him because I'm the one who gave birth to him. And that's where it gets to the heart of the matter. She's like, you don't like your own son because he reminds you of me, and you can't stand it that he's part of me. And then we talk about the gossip, the outsiders' gossip. After so many years, Zhang still holds the feelings for a certain Sanren. Okay. So, and they said in the little notes up here, a cultivator without rules. So, I guess without a sect, maybe without a clan. The title of Wei Ying's mother is Kangxi Sanren. So she's insinuating that Chang's dad liked her, had feelings for her, regarding the son of his old friends as a son of his own. And they're speculating if Ying is your son. And then he's like, nope, we're not going there. And that's like the first time we see him like genuinely lash out and not be happy with her and be mad that she's insinuating that. And he just leaves and he's like, nope, we're not bringing this up again. So we're getting the idea that WuXian's dad was his subordinate that worked with him. And the rumors are that he was in love with the friend's wife, and that WuXian is actually his son and not the friend's. And it's funny because I could see it either way. I could see it going both ways. Like, maybe WuXian is his son, his actual son. And it's like a Ned Stark thing where he took in the kid that was related to him, but everybody doesn't know it. But also it could not be. It could be that it was his best friend's son, and his best friend died, and the woman died too, and she was like, take my baby. Maybe it was like a Snape thing with Lily, and he did love her, but WuXian's not his kid, but it's her kid. And maybe he's like, WuXian's not my flesh and blood, but I loved that woman, and she told me to take him in, and so I'm honoring her wishes because I loved her, and I'm going to take him in and raise him as my own. So that's my theory. I don't think WuXian's Chang's actual brother, but I do think that he did love the woman that's Wing's mom. I do think he did love WuXian's mom, and maybe, and I could be wrong, we could find out more an episode from now that's different, but I do think that he did love WuXian's mom perhaps, and he was forced to marry Chang's mom. So when she died, she's like, take my baby and raise it, and he's like, okay, because WuXian's older, so I don't know, but I love that WuXian stands up here for Chang after everything that's happened. He's like, you're going to be the leader of the Changs. And Chang's face, he gets all soft, and he's like, you don't have to be like all those previous leaders. He's like, listen, you're going to be the clan leader, and I'll be your subordinate, just like your father and mine. And it's like instead of having twin Jades like the Lan clan, the Yunming Zhang clan is going to have twin heroes. It's like, oh, it's like so good. But then the Wen clan has to come and mess it all up. I love it. And then, yeah, the Wen clan's basically being like, we're going to set up surveillance. We're going to double down on watching everybody. And then this bitch comes in. And I like how the dad left. The Chang's dad left, so I'm curious where he went, if he just took off or if he specifically went somewhere to get help. Maybe having some foresight that the Wen clan was coming. I don't know. But he has the hairpin that's hers, that he gave her. So it's like, but yeah, this wench showing up. And I love how you use handmaidens are like, we're not serving you tea. Do we look like servants? We are maids. We're handmaidens. We don't do that. Like, do it yourself. Like, they're like, we're on equal playing fields. Like, just because you're Screw and Chow does not mean that you have more power than us. And then the moment she walks in, I was like, okay, this is going to go down between you and this woman. And like I said earlier, I think that she was just her having all this pin-up frustration against WuXian. She's like, okay, you want me to punish somebody on behalf of the clan to clear our name? Fine. I've had it against WuXian since he was a baby. Let me take out my aggression. I'm just going to whip him a few times. But if you notice, when she does whip him, she's like, I want to stifle all these rumors that WuXian's not, that WuXian's Chang's actual brother. And Wuxian's like, just let it happen. And honestly, for as much as she could be doing, she could have whipped harder. She could have made it more painful than I mean, that was painful to watch, but I feel like she went easy on Wuxian. She just wanted to make a spectacle and a scene out of it. And of course Chang's like horrified that his brother's getting whipped in front of him, and Wuxian's just taking it. And then when she said take his hand, I was like, oh my god, are we really going here? And for a second, when she says take the hand, I feel like the mom, like Yu was gonna do it. Like Yu was like, fine, I'll take his hand if that's gonna clear our name, fine. But then she went too far, because Wuxian was gonna be like, I'm gonna let you take my hand, and she's like, okay. And then the wench went a little bit too far, because she was like, okay, cool. Well, now that you've done that, we're going to make you, the Wing Clan's going to take over Lotus Pier, and you're just going to be like a little deputy to us. And you're going to be our little eyes and ears sort of thing. And yeah, that was just, that was too much. You overstepped your boundary. And the moment she said that, I was like, oh, honey, it's over. And that was so satisfying, just seeing her be like, yeah, no. And I'm like, Mama, you don't walk into my house and boss me around trying to punish someone from my clan. You want to talk about hierarchy? I'm like, oh, girl, let me teach you what hierarchy is. It's like, you're not even a clan leader. You're just some ex-maid who's screwing around. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I am the superior. You are the inferior. This episode was really good, y'all. Really, really good. So I'm curious. That has me wondering. So has me thinking where this all fits in. And that's in terms of, where did Feng Mian go? Where did he go to? Did he go to the Land Clan? Did he go to some of the other clans to tell them about all this? What's going on? Is Chow there with the ex-handmaiden, or is he back somewhere else? So is this going to all break out into a big fight? What's going to happen? How's this going to go down? I don't know. But man, I felt really bad for Chang this episode, and I felt bad for Wuxian, because these two brothers, not by blood, but these bonded brothers, like, there's such an opportunity for these two to have such a connection with one another, and to go and do these great things. And we know that in the future it doesn't happen. And that sucks, because you're like, it doesn't, it ends up not going down the way it's supposed to. And the way this show, I like that we're doing this flashback now, because it's going to be heartbreaking later, because you're going to know it all didn't work out. And it's like, you're setting all these things up, but we, the audience, know it's not going to work. So it's like, and now it's just a matter of figuring out where everything places together. And figuring out, where did Feng Mian go? Where's Yan Li in all of this? How is this ex-handmaiden going to handle all this? It's going to start a war, because she's going to go back and tell Chow that the thing with the Zhangs blew over. And, oh my gosh, y'all. It's another really, really good episode. And it's just building and building and building. And I have a feeling that we're on episode 10. We still got 11, 12, 13, 14. We got 5 left. We're in like the last third. We're in the last third of the series. The last third of season 1. I feel like it's all building up to this climax, and all hell's going to break loose. And I'm not sure I'm ready. So yeah. I'm... Again, final thoughts. I don't think Wuxian is actually Feng Mian's son. I think that he is really the son of Feng Mian's subordinate and this Sangren woman. But I also believe that he did actually like the Sangren woman. But so maybe she died and she was like, here, take my baby and raise it. And so he did, like, in honor of her, he raised Wuxian. And you can't stand that, the idea that he loves or loved another woman, even though their marriage was arranged. Maybe that's the case. But the bro bonding between Chang and Wuxian this episode, where they were like, we're going to be the twin heroes. It's like, Bet you're not. Ah, man, guys. So much being set up, so much still unanswered, but it's all starting to ramp up towards the last third of this series, and I'm really excited for season 1's climax. Y'all told me to get tissues ready, so no spoilers, please. Don't spoil me. But, oh man, it's building up to some things, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Please let me know what you guys thought of the episode. As always, have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. And yeah, I'm going to take a break now. I had to watch these 2 episodes back to back, but I'm going to take a break now and then come back with episode 11 of Modao Zushi. Talk to you guys again soon. Bye.